If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post a new Tom Brady video every day.
Listen, first of all, I'm not sure Michael is the GOAT.
Do you really believe that Brady is the best athlete of all time?
Oh, yes, I do, and I don't think it's even close, to be honest with you. Ali's my guy, but let me tell you something. After what I saw yesterday, y'all better quit talking about all these GOATs and to put Tom Brady as the GOAT. That man played in 10 Super Bowls. 10. And he's won 7. Think about that. I'm changing the GOAT conversation. You know who the GOAT is?
Who's the GOAT?
Tom.
Oh, okay, there you go.
How many times have you lost 2 games in a row in your entire career?
I don't know the answer to that.
Not often.
2 weeks in a row, they broke my heart. Love you guys.
Not often, but I'd say I haven't lost 3 in a row since about 2001. So I don't plan. We got to put our stuff together.
Is he the best to ever? Like,
hey,
that's
team
sports.
Listen,
I think he just plays quarterback. That's my pushback to you.
Plays quarterback. That's probably the most important position in sports.
Right, which I think but it elevates him.
Yes, it elevates him, in my opinion, because the one thing I think you have to factor in, when you play football, every game is a game 7.
Yeah.
Like in the NBA, if you got Michael Jordan or Kareem or LeBron, you got the best player. It's a lot easier to win those 4 games in a 7-game series. When you in the NFL playoffs, every playoff game is a game 7.
Right.
What happened with your Super Bowl bet this year?
Well,
come on.
Tom Brady, you and Belichick, I love y'all. Y'all gonna make me poor again.
and we only have one rule, Tom. Please keep your towel on.
Always.
All right.
I don't even know what's more ridiculous. The fact that he's won 7 Super Bowls and he's played in 10.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Crazy.
10. I mean, just to know that, like, wow.
I said to Mr. Kraft, and the story's kind of well told. He always says, I told him when I first met him, hey, I'm Tom Brady. I'm the greatest decision the organization ever made. I never said that. I'm sure I would never even come out of my mouth. I said, you'll never regret picking me. And I just meant, look, whatever you invest in me, I'm gonna make sure that, it pays off for you. And, I believe it did. We had a great 20 years together, and 20 great years for me to learn and really grow up personally and professionally. And I look back at that time, and it was some magical moments in my life.
But I'm going to tell you something. Tom Brady might, and I've never seen this before, he might have passed Michael Jordan as the greatest athlete of all time, in my opinion. To go to 9 Super Bowls, and I'm never comparing, Roger Federer, Wayne Gretzky, they're in the conversation right below Michael, but after getting to 9 Super Bowls and winning 6 and losing 3 on probably 3 of the greatest performances ever, I think Tom Brady, to me, might be the greatest athlete of all time.
And like I say, he's won 7, but he's played in 10.
Yeah.
That's why I think, I think the determining factor, and like I said, it's all debatable.
Sure.
When you play every game that's a game 7, that's pressure. In the NBA, if you lose, you can lose 3 games and still win the series.
That's true.
And you can still say, I won the championship.
Yeah.
Every time you lose a playoff game, the season is over. And for this man to play in 10 Super Bowls and win 7, hey, you got to give that man his due.
Take me back to draft night in 2000, and your pick 199. What stands out about that night? What are the memories of that night? And how did that night make you the player and the person you are now?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of those little things that happened over the course of time. That was a big thing at that moment, because I thought, man, I'm pretty good, man. I went to Michigan. We were good. I'm going to be a first, second, third round pick, And, they didn't see it that same way. So I think the rounds kind of kept going. And it's very different, the NFL drafts in 2000 and now. Now everything, is pomp and circumstance. By the time I think it was Sunday afternoon comes, that's when they started announcing picks in the 6th round. And I was just sitting there going, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to pick. Anyone's going to pick me at this point. I thought I had a pretty good college career. And then, ultimately, when I got picked by the Patriots, it was the best possible place for me to go. When I reflect back on that time with perspective, there's no better place for me to go. And Coach Belichick, it was his first year there. It was his opportunity to become a head coach again. And I went into a situation with Drew Bledsoe, who was a great veteran pro quarterback who was playing at a high level. And I got a chance to sit there and learn from him.
You know, but Mike did take off 2 years to play baseball, Charles, so he probably would have had 8.
But it's a lot easier to win in the NBA than it is when you're in a one-and-done scenario. I mean, think of that. That's why I'm going to give Tom the edge. I mean, when you lose one game, Mike has the luxury of losing 1 or 2, 3 games. But to be in a one-and-done scenario and get to 9 world championships, win 6, I mean, like I say, I never even thought about anybody that could pass Michael. But I got to say, Tom Brady, in my opinion, might have passed Michael.
And it's hard for me to put anybody above Michael. But Michael was always going to be the best player 4 out of 7 games. But the difference is, every time Tom Brady played a football game, it was a game 7. I never had thought about it like that. I mean, you think about that. Every football game in the playoffs is a game 7. Like, if Michael, he's going to win most series because he's going to be the best player 4 out of 7 games. But when you play in football, every single football game in the playoffs is a game 7. And you think about that. That's incredible to have all those game 7s and to get to 10 Super Bowls and to win 7. And people can say he's at home. It doesn't matter. Everybody loses at home.
If you go to, New Orleans and beat Drew Brees, I think that was the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went.
That was the second one.
Yeah, they beat Washington the first one.
They beat. Oh, but I'm not saying Washington. That didn't count. That didn't count. But if you go to New Orleans, beat Drew Brees, go to Lambeau Field and beat Aaron Rodgers, then you beat Pat Mahomes.
You'd have walked away.
I would have walked away.
Mic drop.
That's a mic drop right there. But you know what? God bless him. Keep it play as long as he wants to.
Tom, what does your dad mean to you?
Man, my dad is the guy that, I mean, everything I did, I tried to grow up and be like my dad. And my dad is an amazing man, supports me to this day. You know, I had 3 older sisters, and, you know, my dad was, you know, he kept trying for that son, and he finally got a son. I think he just wanted someone to go out there on the golf course with. And, you know, he and I would sneak away to go play when we wanted to get out and be together. He was just a great role model for me. And he was always there. You know, I think my parents, and I always tell this to a lot of young parents, you know, I said, don't ever limit like what your kids can do. You know, sometimes as a parent, you always want to tell them, hey, I want to be a pro football player. Yeah, you know, my dad's great, but we should think about some other things too if that doesn't work out. You know, my parents were like, yeah, let's go for it. You know, let's go. What do you want to do? You know, and I want to go learn how to throw the football. So we went to the College of San Mateo, which is a small school, a small community college in San Mateo, and I learned how to throw the football there. And then my junior year in high school, I was like, I want to go to football camps, Dad. All right, let's take you down to the Arizona football camp. You know, wherever I could throw the football, I was going to go. And it was never, you know, that's really hard to do. You know, he never put a limit on it for me. And I think if there was any parents out there listening, like, don't ever limit your kids. You know, let the kids just dream as big as they want, because you never know. I got to live my dream. And I think I never thought that I wouldn't. It was very naive of me, because not a lot of people do in the situation I was in. But at the same time, I never would have done that if someone would have said, hey, you know, think about a plan B. I never thought about a plan B. I just went for it, you know, Mach 3 with my hair on fire to be the best I could be.
First of all, I can't believe he's not retired. I'm not going to lie. Because if you do what he just did, beat Drew Brees in New Orleans, beat Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field, and then beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, that would be the greatest drop the mic ever in sports. It'd be like if somebody won a major and just quit on the spot. To beat those 3 guys in New Orleans, Lambeau, and Pat Mahomes, that to me, if he walked away right now, I'd be like, yeah, it can't get better than that.
He went into Lambeau Field and beat Aaron Rodgers, and then New Orleans beat Drew Brees, and then beat Pat Mahomes, who's the next. They say he's the next guy. You can't beat that. Like, that's like, oh man, I don't know if he can do that, but he did it.
You know, that would be the greatest mic drop in the history of civilization. That's how cool that would be. I'm like, to beat those three guys and walk away on number 7, that would be one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
Man, I bet one of the funniest interviews you gave, I don't know if you remember this, you were in Foxborough after a playoff game. You're at Gillette Stadium. Reporters were around you. You said, look, man, when Brady and Belichick leave, y'all gonna suck. I just want to let y'all know that. Y'all go suck.
But people have a problem with this, Charles, when they go, oh, greatest athlete, but he's not a great athlete. He's got the best resume, because they'll say, well, what kind of athlete is Tom Brady? So we get caught up in how athletic you are. You know, he's not Michael Vick, but, you know, I think.
Listen, the resume is what we're judging everybody by, right?
Yeah, but I think when we say the greatest football player of all time, somebody wants to say Lawrence Taylor or Jerry Rice or Jim Brown, because they have athletic achievement and they.
Those guys haven't been to 9 Super Bowls.
I know.
I mean, those guys you mentioned, I think they won 2 Super Bowls, maybe 3, but to get to 9 Super Bowls, damn, one and done. That's what the caveat is to me. He has to be in a one-and-done scenario. Like in the NBA, you know, Michael, Kobe, LeBron, guys like that, they have a decided advantage in a 7-game series. They can dominate 4 games, or they can lose 2 or 3 games. To get to 9 Super Bowls where it's a one-and-done scenario, I mean, it's incredible.
What was the best thing about your kids and the worst thing about your kids during the pandemic?
The best part was I got all the time in the world around them. And the worst part was I got all the time in the world around them. So there was a lot of shut up, you know, like the kids. I'm working, you know, I got stuff to do, you know. So I think part of it was amazing to have us all together. We were together for like every meal, you know, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And at the same time, they were here every day, you know, so it was a lot of Groundhog Day for a lot of us. A lot of families kind of got, you know, we were all together all the time.
Well, listen, Tom, I just want to thank, I know you're a busy man. I can't wait for the man in the arena. TB12, keep doing your thing, man. You're awesome, obviously, a person. I tell people, you and Wayne Gretzky are the 2 most humble GOATs I've ever been around, man. Just thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe as I post a new Tom Brady video every day.